All right, you want me to, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. It's 5:30. The first thing on the agenda is the minutes. And the minutes of November 20th. I had one thing, Jane. Line 65. Can we play it by ear? Instead of play it ear? Okay. And that's all I had. OJ, do you have anything?
I did not.
Jack?
No, make a motion to approve them as amended.
I'll second. Perfect. OJ can second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. And then those are. Please go ahead and sign those. Then we have the meeting minutes from December 2nd. I didn't have anything. I'll make a motion to approve them as presented.
Wait a minute, I didn't have anything either. OJ, do you have anything?
Well, I
I
would have
did not.
assumed that either one of
Okay.
you would
I'll make
speak
a
up
motion.
if you did. Perfect. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 We have find that one, non-public meeting minutes from December 6th. I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's go. You. You. All right. Two sets of minutes and a non-public. Nope. Two non-publics. We also, thank you, Jane. We also have non-public meeting minutes from November 20th. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the non-meeting minutes from the 20th.
The non-meeting, the non.
Non-meeting minutes, non-public meeting.
I'll
minutes.
make second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 There you go. Thank you, Jane. And now we have the first of two public hearings on the proposed purchase of the town-owned land. I don't have a copy of
right in
that.
front of you.
Oh, I have a copy of the PNS right here. This is for HGP Holdings, lot number 5, for $55,000. And that's lot number 5 at the industrial park on Salem Way, Business Park. And we don't really have to do anything other than to open it for public comment.
Well, just for like I can't see, is there anyone else even in the room?
No, yes.
Yes.
Wayne is here and then it's filthy with cops.
Oh, cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
there's a couple of people on Zoom here. This was brought before to the planning board at the last planning board meeting.
Oh, good. HGP.
P Holdings is Herman Feudy,
Yep.
who is the owner of Black Mountain Burger and La Vista. And his purpose for the land is going to be to build a building that will house his kind of operational office and then warehouse workspace to work on equipment, clean equipment, store equipment
Repairs.
related to his various holdings. And the planning board unanimously recommended doing this. I of course abstained from the planning board vote because I don't vote when the vote is a matter of recommending something to the selectmen, because that's kind of circular.
It's a good call.
But the other four members all voted in approval.
Good. It's a good use of the land. He does most of his own maintenance and stuff, so having a shop would be handy. Do you have any comment on that, Jack? So the public hearing is open. Does anyone have any comments? Not a
Make
thing.
motion to close public comment.
Public
Second.
comment is closed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So our second public hearing is going to be on
December
12:30.
30th.
December 30th. Yep, and then at that point. The official. They will commence, provided there's no reason not to.
Yeah, no, and I've already reached out to Cindy at Mike Conklin's office
Oh,
to
good.
start the doc.
Fantastic. Great, great, great. So now we have the public hearing on the land use fee amendments. Do you have the schedule on that? Or OJ, did you go to the planning board with that?
Yes, the planning board also approved that.
I have it right here if you'd like.
Revised fee schedule. And that was fees for application of site plan review and application of rock
Single-
walls. Retaining
so-
walls, retaining
yeah.
walls.
And single family homes. So we previously our application
this, yeah.
fee for the single family homes was $350. And it was just a flat fee across the board. What we're proposing is to continue with that $350 application fee, but also add a square footage cost of $1 per square foot of new. So it would have cost an application.
Square footage of. Yeah.
And then as OJ also mentioned, we are adding a $500 admin site review fee for the walls of greater than 4 feet. Yeah. Is that $1,500 escrow is not enough to actually cover our costs in-house and for Sean to kind of be on site and monitoring that construction. And then the last thing was we are going to add additional language to the permits that essentially says that if you are caught completing work without a permit, that the first time your fee shall be increased by 25%, and then 50% for the second occurrence, and then by 100% for any subsequent occurrence.
So those fees that are quadrupled, quarter.
They'll apply to anybody that is caught doing construction without a permit.
But I mean, when you're saying you're gonna, the fee shall be increased.
Right.
We're gonna increase the plus the $1 per square foot, so.
Yeah, essentially.
of it.
Square foot home, it's, $5,350, so we're gonna take a quarter of that or double it or.
Correct.
100%, okay.
Fantastic.
Make a motion to approve. the
Well, I have a question before you do that.
Okay.
The retaining walls. So it's plus third-party review, plus 5 for admin. Do we use all of the 1,500 in third-party review?
So the way the escrow agreements work is they're a totally separate check and a totally separate bank
Yep,
account
yep.
monitored by the town treasurer.
I know
So
that.
We usually ask for a $1,500 escrow payment that goes into the side payment. If they use it all, they use it all. If they don't, the
Gotcha.
LUCC
That's what I-
is. Most part, they use a good majority of it.
Okay.
And then the $500, like I said, would cover in-house costs
Does
to
it,
kind of.
are we
monitor that.
covering everything though? Do we ever go over? And if we do go over, they have to pay it anyway.
Correct. If we
Okay.
go over the $1,500, we
Right.
ask for a replenishment in their escrow account.
Perfect. Okay. Good. Good, good.
Sean, you reviewed all that?
Just say yes. No,
You've
just kidding.
reviewed all these fees, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah,
Good.
All right,
it was part of the
good,
conversation.
yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
So essentially you just need to open that up to public comment as well.
All right, so we'll open up public hearing on the proposed land use fee amendments. Anyone have any comments, questions? Anyone online?
Oh, we also, yeah, I don't think that this, because it's not technically a monetary fee-based thing, but we're also
Well,
discussing.
wait a minute, Sean's not at a microphone, so he asked if
oh.
it
Sean had
was.
asked, we also had discussed in-house about right now, our land use permits are only issued for a year.
Yeah,
We found that it's nearly impossible for a home to be built in
Yeah.
a 12-month period of time, especially with what we're dealing with up on the mountain and the topography and the ledge and whatnot. So we are proposing to also, when we're updating the fees and the language and all that kind of stuff, to also make the permits good for 2 years, a 24-month period of time versus
mhm.
a 12-month period of time, because it's easier for us to track in-house rather than having to chase people to issue extensions and whatnot. So we're going
Makes
to
sense.
make that change as well at the same time. But as it's not part of like a fee, a monetary fee-based thing, I think that's kind of discretionary, but it's good to bring it up at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah, right now it's chase that year extensions, we're just
Yeah.
constantly issuing out year extensions, and it just makes more sense to make it a 2-year period of time, especially with the increased fees, we're covering our
Mhm.
costs to do so. So
Fantastic.
And when does this go into effect? Does it have to go to town meeting?
it does not have to go to town meeting. We have to have the public hearing, which we're doing this evening. And then after that, it's essentially, I guess, we have the authorization to do so. We're thinking January 1 to keep it clean.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Close the public hearing then.
Yeah, that no one had anything.
Oh, Jay's got something.
No, I was just saying, I'll second that we close the public hearing.
Fantastic. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So the public hearing is closed. Do you need a motion to approve this now, or are we good?
I think I motion just to formalize it would be fine, would be good.
So I'll make a motion to approve the proposed land use fee amendments
Effective January 1.
effective January 1.
25. Second the motion.
Fantastic. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. Thank you for that. All right, now we have a police department update. It's great to see you all here.
She was chairing the meeting tonight, so she thought she might need an extra protection.
That's right. We need the protection. That's right. It's,
Well, I didn't know who was gonna be at the table.
push the button and turn them on, Chad, if you don't mind. Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Perfect.
So just want to let you guys know we have 2 new police officers. That's Laura Redmond. Well, hold on.
What's that?
That's Laura Redmond. Laura has about 8 years of experience. She's a full-time certified police officer. She most recently came from Lisbon. Before that, she was with the Orange County Sheriff's Department in Vermont and the Grafton County Sheriff's Department, where she dispatched full-time and then part-time. So we're glad to have her.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Good to meet you.
Next gentleman is Justin Combs, and you kind of met him, I think, the other night.
Yeah.
Justin has about 18 years of experience. He's a full-time certified police officer. He was at the Grafton County Sheriff's Department in their digital forensics laboratory. He comes with a special skill set and quite a bit of equipment from the Secret Service that follows him if he leaves a job and goes to another place. He also comes with a dog
Nice.
that
See, that's the impressive part. I don't care about the equipment. The
Can we just
dog.
meet the dog?
That's right.
The dog is paid for by the Secret Service, and it does one of 2 things. It sniffs out digital evidence. It can find it.
Interesting.
I won't say how, but it can
I
find
don't want to
it.
know how.
And
That's all we'll know.
and it serves as a comfort dog for victims of
Oh, sure.
certain crimes.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we're glad to
Well,
have Justin
welcome.
on
I
board.
can't wait to meet the dog. Oh, good.
Very exciting.
Would you point out too that the other 2 selectmen have special license plate numbers, so when they're passing through the town meeting, they'll know who they are.
Exactly.
Only one speeds.
Speed demon. So that's what's new. We have 1 opening still left in the department. We've had some interest in that, so
Great.
we are almost full staffed, which has been a long time.
Fantastic.
Been a long time,
Yeah.
sure.
How's the PD coming?
It's coming. It's amazing. I think I talked to Kevin today. He said by the 15th of January, they expect to get a temporary occupancy
Nice.
certificate. They're shooting for the end of January, and I don't think there's any hurry to move in. We have to coordinate with Ossipee Mountain Electronics to decide when they're going to throw the switch.
Fantastic.
And have dispatch there. And then we'll just slowly move in. So
Yeah,
it's-
and I had previously said that we were gonna move dispatch last, but I guess that's now been flip-flopped and now dispatch is going first to kind of make sure that we get all the kinks
Sure.
out before everyone else occupies it, so.
Makes sense.
Plus they
Makes
control
sense.
all the doors and gates.
Yeah,
Sure.
So-
we need someone to do that.
Yeah, that's great.
Then he owes me $300. He told me, October 14th.
I remember that, yeah, October.
Yes, and that's been a moving target. It's been moving.
Say what year? You just said October.
Right.
No, that's exciting. I can't wait for that to.
It's
all
it's
happen.
very exciting and I'm not really sure. I guess this can come at a later time, but kind of a grand opening type of deal.
Yeah, they wanted to do definitely some sort of ribbon cutting or something along those lines. where
Very
we could
cool.
have a little press and, invite everybody up.
I
and-
think it
and
would be good
whatnot.
to have the community come in and, in
Yeah.
a
Oh,
full
yeah.
open house.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Some
We'll
people you
open
might
up the
even
doors.
keep, but, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
open those cells right up.
That's
invite
right.
in. No, that's cool. I can't, every time I drive by, I'm like,
Yeah.
can't wait for it to happen.
Great thoughts.
Mhm.
It'd be a great spot.
While we're talking about the PD though, real quick, I'll just give you, it's on my town manager's report, but I'll say it because we're talking about the PD now. So I have been in contact with USDA regarding our $1 million congressional directed spending.
Mhm.
And that they, as of late last week, the underwriting and review are almost complete, but the major update is that the funds will not be available until approximately January 3rd. USDA plans to have the documents ready, but they cannot be signed until the national office gives them the green light to release the funds.
Mhm.
Knowing that our project is near completion, I told them that we would be submitting reimbursements essentially the day sign the papers.
That day, yeah.
That day. So USDA said that they would be in contact with us after the first of the year to coordinate to get on our schedule in early January to sign all the paperwork and get that all rolling.
Fantastic. That's good news. Great.
And then I think the last thing that we want to talk about PD wise is this is part of the budget workshop, but it's also very specific to the PD. If you look at the PD's budget and you look at their part-time wage line, you will see a significant increase in that line from 24 to 25. What number is that?
10.
Yeah.
10.
Yep.
Do you want me to go or do you want to go?
I have a note that says this grant funded.
Yes, so, well, it's MOU funded through another grant, so, we have, the opportunity to hire a part-time police officer that also works, with the, right? Am I,
Yeah,
you say, ICAC, yeah.
Internet Crimes Against Children.
Ah, nice.
So
That is so needed.
I worked with him for a number of years at the county, about 18 years with him. And he in turn has worked with Justin, and he's since retired, but he stays on for 26 hours a week. And his position is 100% funded by ICAC through Portsmouth PD, who has the federal grant. So this is a scenario where it shows an increase in our budget, but yet the money comes back in on the revenue side.
Okay.
It's a direct
So
wash.
it's a reimbursement.
It's
Dollar for dollar.
100%.
Yeah, dollar for dollar. It's a direct wash. You'll see at the bottom of the PD's budget,
Fed grant,
the
yeah.
offset, yes, correct. The offsetting revenue, we've added that
Fantastic.
55,000 in. So that's where you're going to see the difference. We are
Yeah.
trying to right now formulate a plan as to what's the best way to I guess, raise that money in appropriations, but also expend that money and create the revenue. We're talking about potentially doing a special revenue fund or a revolving fund that would allow that money to come in and then be directly spent out. So it's kind of outside of the operating budget.
Gotcha.
I
So
don't
it doesn't
know-
come in like a normal grant and go to the general fund.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's more like a
gotcha.
special detail kind of would be where those
Mhm.
funds come in and out, and that fund can only be used for that specific
Sure.
purpose. Part of me is hesitant to do it in the first year, just to see if it's truly necessary. I talked to Becky about it, our finance director, and I don't want to jump the gun and create this fund. It has to go to town meetings. We'd have to have it approved at
Right,
town
right,
meeting.
right,
We'd have to
right.
go through all those motions. I don't want to do that unless it's truly going to be beneficial for her on the bookkeeping side of things or the finance side of things to make sure we can see it come in and out.
And are her thoughts to wait a year and then see how it,
Yes, because we also thought that maybe we won't use that fund just for that position. We might use that fund for every position that's grant funded, like the SRO or
Yeah.
other types of overtime. I know some of Justin's overtime is also covered by that same program, that same MOU.
Gotcha.
So right now we're trying to figure it out, whether it's worth going to town meeting and creating this new fund, or if we should write it out for a year and see. I don't
are we
want to.
sending it to the budget committee like it says right now?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
right now, as of right now, that's the
that-
plan, and then we would
There's
figure
a
it out.
possibility that might change prior to,
Town meeting,
well, prior to budget hearings. 'Cause after
correct.
that, we can't
Yeah,
change.
and I think I talked to Mike Simons today or emailed with him, and I think that's planned for February 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Budget hearing, yes. So we'll figure out the best plan, but as of right now, it's listed as an expenditure and listed as revenue.
Perfect. Great. We like it when we get grants for cool stuff.
And here's the thing.
Any other grants you're going out for, Chief?
No,
No,
between
Mhm.
your grant and our federal grant, which is very nice, but rather taxing at times.
We need to get a grant for a grant writer and manager.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the grant administration is,
work.
It's not- they're not
it's not free money.
No.
You got to work for it. And we have the SRO grant, we have the Bulletproof Vest grant, we have the congressional funding grant.
Highway
We'll
safety
now,
grant.
Highway Safety Grant, we'll now have the 2 MOUs for
that's
these
just
2
the
new
PD.
positions. That's
That's
just the
not the rest
PD.
of
That's
it.
not
Yeah.
the rest of the,
Right.
so I think we're doing pretty good as far as it goes.
very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we're going for a new cruiser at town meeting, so, maybe there's some money out there for that.
Well, we do that every year. That's a,
And
That's
they
the
say
cost of doing
nothing is
business.
free money's not free.
right.
In this case, it really is.
Yeah.
This position would be 100% funded. You're getting a free person
And
and an
no
experienced person.
requirement to continue it, which,
Right.
yeah. At any, yeah,
It's a win-win.
I mean, not that we wouldn't, but
Right.
the SRO is like 100% the first year or 75%, then 50,
75,
25.
25,
It's
right.
not like, and then we have to keep it for a year.
Right.
After, which I hope we keep it forever, but,
Agreed. Right.
yeah. But this isn't, there's no, those conditions on this grant.
No, and I think it's going to be easier to manage because of that, with the
Excellent.
SRO grant, where, like you said, we have to do 75%
Yeah.
of, benefits and retirement,
Right.
taxes and all that kind of stuff, where this is
Yeah.
kind of just a in and out.
Yeah.
So
Great.
That's all I got.
What else going on downstairs? Anything else fun and exciting?
There's a lot of things.
Careful what you're.
Doing really, Scott.
How we doing?
Yeah, no, him.
Oh, how's he doing?
Yeah, yeah.
He's fantastic.
Oh,
We are very.
you're going on record.
You know,
You're gonna like-
Scott, get a microphone.
Sit up there with your microphone, Scott.
Can't hear me.
No.
Well,
been
Jane
trying.
will be doing the minutes.
Jane
She'll
will
be
be doing
cursing your name.
She'll call you out in the minutes if
So I
she
know
can't
there's a
hear
lot
you.
of people listening and people will review this. I know a lot of us are very thankful for the opportunity of building such a building and the stuff that you provide and the support that we get. I was called a cheerleader Friday night for the PD, and I am. We have we're putting together a great group of people that will hopefully bring this PD far into the future, personnel wise,
Yeah.
and along with the building itself. It's a great community.
Well, we've got great leadership downstairs.
Do.
And I mean,
The
we're
two of you.
seeing so much negativity in the press today. I mean, I'm sure you read about it every day, the different police departments all over the country. I'm just reading about one today. It's crazy what they do. Some of them do, particularly in the larger cities, when we're talking 160 police officers or 90 to 100 police officers, another one. I mean, I'm glad that you control what we do in this community keep law and order, and be part of the community. That's so important to me, you know, as a select person or as a taxpayer, more important.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah. Great
That
department.
doesn't mean you're gonna get a raise.
Right.
Okay. All right.
See, I would give you a raise, but
Before the PD leaves, though, I do want to just mention this real quick. I did get an email today, and I didn't plan on bringing it up, but I did get an email today and a picture of our PD at night from this weekend, lit up like a big old Christmas tree.
Nice.
And the woman who sent the email just requested that she's attaching a photo of the police station from her condo at Mansion Hill. She is requesting that the town put up a fence that will block out the lights from that are on she understands that we'll never be able to block out the parking lot lights, right? The exterior parking lights that are on the poles, but she does think that a fence would help to block out the lights that are attached to the building and they're coming from the carport and whatever that are a little bit more lower in elevation. So she asked that I mention it this evening at the select board and that I present it to the budget committee, CIP committee. She said, I am in support of the new police station, but this must be addressed as soon as possible. So I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. We are hoping that once the funding for the congressional spending comes, when we start to tally up all the expenditures that will be associated with that $1 million, we may have a remaining balance. I'm not guaranteeing it, but we may have a remaining balance. And if there is one, that may be a good use of those funds is to put it towards the
Do we have
fencing.
enough of a buffer of land to put evergreens? I mean, we need a fence. There's no question that place has to be
Wait a minute,
fenced.
wait a minute.
But can we put
Who-
evergreens to block the
Who
light?
says we're gonna do the fence? I mean, buy a pair
I
of
didn't say
curtains.
we're gonna, I
It's,
said,
it's nighttime, you
Ugh.
close your curtains.
we
at
need a
night. That
fence.
blocks the light. Or at
police
least mine,
department-
I've got light blocking curtains, I mean, you know, whatever.
The police department needs to be secure and needs a fence at some point in the near future, hopefully. However, there's a way, maybe we can plant evergreens to block the light from the neighborhood is.
I
what I'm
do know
thinking. It
that
might be a
the-
little more effective than just a fence.
Yeah, I do know that the condo association did put up some trees, but I don't think they were,
Evergreens.
yeah, I don't think they were
What are
sufficient
the
enough. to-
tall ones that block the wind? Are they
Arborvitae,
something like
along
that,
those
yeah.
lines. Yeah.
I mean, maybe said something we can look into budgeting a couple of year or something in the
Like
future and,
hedges,
yeah, something
like
to
a
that
hedge tree
effect.
that you can trim and.
Sure. That he can trim, because I'm not trimming anything. And I think it's the whole lighting issue is because of that Scott McGinley carport.
Well, and and I did explain to her that unfortunately the lighting is what it is. I mean, we need our employees to be
right.
safe. It's for the safety of our employees and also people that we potentially have,
Right, but we do something in the future. I mean, it needs to be a secure chain link fence around it. However, we can do some evergreens or arborvitaes or something to block the light, or even if it's a couple of year for the next 10
Sure.
years before it's done or something, but yeah, I
And it
don't,
would,
I don't see why not.
and we talked about this.
We can make Scott do it.
It would beautify the area to make us really good neighbors to the.
Absolutely.
wanna be
Mhm.
We talked
Absolutely.
about with the plants and stuff like that, this could just be one of those things.
Part of
that-
it and something. Okay, figure out the
Can I-
budget. OJ
Can I
wants
just
to say
ask-
anything.
yeah.
Can I say no and mute him? Go ahead, OJ.
I guess my question is twofold. Number one, can we, in order to address this concern, can we first go out and see like, will a 6 foot high, say wooden picket fence sufficiently block the light, or will it be too short? Do you need an 8 foot fence? What I don't want to do is say, okay, let's solve this problem. We build a fence and we find out after we spend all the money that
Oh, absolutely. Right.
that the lights are too high and it still goes over, it doesn't even make a difference. So let's find out what we need first. And then second, if we find out that yes, say it's an 8 foot wooden fence will do it, what is the length that we need to, again, sufficiently block the light, and what would the cost of that be? And then let's approach this from a standpoint of, what is it going to cost and what effect will it have?
That makes sense to me.
Curtains are cheaper.
Maybe their association will help with the cost. We could
I don't think so.
Yeah, I want to thank on that. But I do think,
Yeah.
I do
but
think it
let's
would
look
be,
into it. We'll
yeah,
look into it.
I
and
think I
we'll
think it needs to be
work
looked
on
into,
something.
right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, we will address it as soon as possible after we figured out exactly what we need and how Scott's gonna pay for it.
Okay.
I can find a coupon.
Yeah, I bet you can. I
Someone
was
on
just
Facebook
thinking, you
Marketplace.
go on Facebook Marketplace and find free fencing.
Gets everything first.
Yeah.
You do it.
The light's gonna change as cruisers move in and make turns and.
No, thanks for that, Jack.
So, and,
Anything
and
else?
I, well,
Go ahead.
I can't see the new officers who are there, but, at some point I'll get to meet you in person and I,
Just tell them,
I-
look for the plate. This is OJ.
OJ.
It says, "Oh, stop it."
Stop it.
well,
Down
I-
in the middle of Main Street, even if it's just to say hi, so he gets all embarrassed.
there you go, do that. But again, welcome aboard and thank you both for joining the force.
You're always welcome, OJ. You know that. Stop in.
I will. All right, I'll do that.
Awesome. Anything
All right.
else?
No, we're good.
Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thanks for
very much.
coming. Welcome aboard.
Luck.
Thanks for all you do. All right. On to budget.
You want the picture or just a minute?
Oh, my goodness. Hmm. Okay. On to budget.
In your packets, you will have new sheets for the updated departments that were at the last time we went through them. There was a couple that we still had questions on, or we still needed quotes on, or we were going to look into. So you have updated sheets for that, and I'll go through those real quickly just to show you the difference if that's what you'd like.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so starting in the executive budget, number one, we originally had the telephones at 25,000. I brought that down to 22. I did go talk to the telephone company. Unfortunately, because we are on an annual contract that ends in December, that requires a 90-day noticing period, we will most likely have to keep all the PD phones downstairs, or a good percentage of them,
Right.
unfortunately, throughout the end of the year next year. We
Right.
will give them notice in September where our 90 days are out. So
Right.
right now, our expenditures for the telephone looks like it's going to be 22,335, but I just rounded it down to 22,000. Next year, when we remove the PDs, POTS lines, and the additional lines that we will no longer leave when the town hall occupies the building, that should go down to $8,906. So it's a chunk for this year. It's a high number for this year, but it will go down next year when the PD finally moves out and we can remove some of those redundancies in the lines and the pot lines and the
Gotcha.
number of phone lines. So, like I said, unfortunately, it's a jump for this year, but it will go down to just under 9,000 next year.
And then the communications plan on the next page went up. You had 1464, but you had it highlighted in the original.
Which one, which line item is?
Statewide communications.
Statewide communication, that is the company that we are moving
Yep.
to the phone systems
Right.
with, exactly. So,
Yeah, you had the 1464 as a placeholder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got you. It's updated now.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
no problem. The next budget with updates was the planning, I believe. Am I correct in that? You have it in front of you. You should have it.
Personnel?
5 personnel.
Oh, personnel. Yep. So I did, I had Becky review those. I was looking at those retirement numbers. I wanted Becky to confirm
yep,
my
yep.
numbers, and Becky did go through and confirm my numbers so that these are a more accurate reflection of actually what we're spending in retirement. As you can see,
Excellent.
one of them went down slightly, one went up slightly, but for the most part,
Well, one remained the same, one went up
well,
for the 25 recommended.
oh, yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, over like what we
Oh,
budgeted
from the
last
last
year.
year's funded.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Correct.
I'm just looking at the difference.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. Okay. Thank you for that.
No problem. Planning department, we did not have the quotes for the Access GIS tools at the last meeting. They
Oh,
were
right.
highlighted, so we did get updated figures. That is our tax mapping system and our electronic tax maps online. So
Gotcha.
they did go up slightly, but those tools are used every single day
Oh.
by almost every single person in this
I use them.
town hall. I
go
know.
online a lot and use that to for different things. So,
So I just wanted to formalize those figures.
and then 10 police.
10 police, essentially, we just went over with the chief, the major increase in the part-time line, due to the MOU that will be a direct reimbursement from, the, federal government.
And then the grant. Yeah, gotcha.
And then, yes, we did add that revenue. So
Yeah.
the expenditure went up obviously by the 55, but the grant
Grants
revenue
went up
also
the
went up
same,
by
yeah,
the 55.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you.
Also, here too, you'll see that we broke out the SRU defense portfolio.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that from the grant and what's coming from the school. Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah. Oh, that was good. Thank you. And then 19 health agencies.
With health agencies, we just removed mid-state health, mid-state health reached out so that they are not.
Yeah, they can't accommodate. Yeah.
We request, so they, you know, are removing out.
And then the only other two, Katie and Bridge. Oh, Bridge House can't accommodate.
Reach out.
And I mean, not Katie, Emmett is the community. Yeah. Okay. And then we have 21 recreation.
We want recreation, so this is the one that skipped over at the last meeting because regulations were off on my spreadsheet.
Oh, right.
But okay, I did send you, about an hour before the meeting, an updated worksheet through email. I don't know if you saw that. It's changed since the.
Karina, your microphone keeps cutting out. I didn't hear anything you just said.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. I said I sent you about an hour ago with an updated worksheet for 21 because the one I gave you last week has changed.
Okay.
So the first
Is, the resident. With the boss, the character.
You're back to cutting out.
You need a battery.
I think you might.
Just swap that. There you go.
Your microphone might need a battery too.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Again,
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
So the first line is going to be the major change that you're going to see in recreation. It's from the loss of Tara Tower to the promotion of Brianna to the recreation director. Obviously, Tara's wages were reflective of her 26 years here with the town of Lincoln. So that is being reduced. She will work with us for a half the month in January. So we did have to
a little bit
absorb
more
a
than-
little bit.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
And then the remainder will be obviously for the new
Sure.
position. So that went down slightly. The rest of the wages stuck to that 4% increase that's being
Gotcha.
proposed. If you go down the budget, you'll see she kept her overtime flat. She kept her telephone flat. She did bump up the travels, dues, and conferences. I think,
Makes sense.
yep, they were hoping that this year, two of them could potentially go to some of the trainings and conferences because we will have a new staff member on board that we would like to give that opportunity to as well.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Contracted services, she did go up slightly from in that first line from the 6,000 to the 9,000 for other contracted services. This is due to our new agreement with I forget the name of it. I have it right. Okay. Yeah. So we are now part of, the White Mountain League,
Oh, right.
and
right,
we
right,
now
right,
pay
right.
dues to the White Mountain League, so we can have, so they could pay referees and officials for the season.
Yep.
This is a collaborative effort with other communities in the area to
Right.
be able to do that. And so that's why that went from the 6,000 to the
Yes.
9,000.
Yep.
But you'll also see that we are zeroed out the umpire and referee line because it's being absorbed with that
Exactly.
additional
Yeah, yeah,
fee.
yeah,
Electricity kept the same. It looks as if we're very much underspended, but the majority of that will be with the snowmaking guns at the Kank. So these
Yeah,
last
every
couple
year.
bills will
Every
be,
year.
will
Yep.
jump us right up in no time.
Yep.
Materials and supplies, she did up the ball field maintenance slightly. It's it's the increase in the cost of the field marking supplies.
Sure. Yep.
So.
Makes
Um,
sense.
Yep, fuel and maintenance stayed level funded, propane stayed level funded. Equipment, she did bump up a little bit, and that's just due to an increase in the equipment costs.
Yep.
As you can see, she's overspent her budget in that line a little bit, so. And then, Town of Lincoln patriotic purposes, it was a decrease of $3,100.
Because we don't need the soccer.
Because we
goals,
don't, you got it. We don't need the soccer goals again,
But the turf care.
but the
did go
turf
up a
care went
little.
up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which makes sense.
Which brings the grand total of that budget to less than a 1% increase.
Yep.
So,
Excellent. And I had a question, fireworks.
yes.
How, I don't know where that is. Oh, right there. What did we figure out with fireworks?
We have secured a company,
good.
the JPI Fire Pyrotechnics.
Is that the
They-
one Rumney?
Nope.
area? No?
They are out of New Hampshire. They're not from the Rumney area. They're from
Okay.
that
Okay.
that area. So he has secured the 5th for us.
Okay.
After we had already given the green light on the 5th to put our pencil us in, I have this also as something that I needed to talk to you all about. Judy and Woodstock reached out to me, and Woodstock wants to do the fireworks on the 3rd and wants me to reach back out to him and see if he could do it
Hang
on the
on.
3rd. I didn't know what Lincoln's thoughts were on that. I'll be honest.
I thought the 5th was a Saturday.
The 5th is a Saturday.
So
They want to
why
do it on,
On Thursday.
I don't know.
I
I-
disagree. I,
That means people coming up.
Yeah.
right, to get here for the,
Yeah.
and then we have we have the fireworks Thursday night, the parade Friday. I disagree. I would prefer myself to have the parade on Friday, fireworks Saturday night. And then everybody can enjoy it over the weekend and you're not staying up late and,
Right.
that after working all day or.
I mean,
Yeah.
I agree totally. I think Saturday's a better day. I also think we've played a lot of back and forth with this
Right.
gentleman already, trying to secure us in, and,
Right.
and so like to now say, how about Wednesday? I mean, I'll do it if that's what the board wishes us
Yeah,
to
I
do, but
prefer the 5th.
I think the 5th is a better day, especially it being on a Saturday. If we were midweek, I think it probably wouldn't matter. If we were doing it on a Tuesday or we were doing it on a Thursday, maybe it wouldn't have such significance.
Right, if the 4th of July
Right.
is a Tuesday,
an
and we're doing it
impact,
Wednesday
right.
instead or whatever, fine, but it's a weekend. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just makes more sense to me to have it on the weekend. OJ, do you have any thoughts?
I like the weekend, and I would wonder why the Woodstock board preferred it during the midweek. I mean, if there's a compelling reason that we're totally overlooking, I'd like to hear it. but-
She had said that that it would bring people to the area earlier.
I disagree. People plan their vacations and then they find fireworks to go to. I don't think they plan their vacation around the fireworks, but
I agree.
And he will honor the same price for us as well. So
Good, good.
You wanna
So,
Go back to them then.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go back to them and just say, you know, the Lincoln board disagrees with the, you know, July 3rd, you know, having July, well, I'll craft it in a more, you know, I guess eloquent manner, but that we feel strongly that we would prefer it on that Saturday.
and I mean, like OJ said, if there's a compelling reason that she says, well, we feel Thursday because of this, and come back to us. Absolutely.
Mhm.
We're not saying, no, we don't want to hear it. We're saying we'd prefer Saturday unless you can change our minds.
Right.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for that. And then you did long-term debt on here.
Yep, and then where are we? Long-term debt, did we go over this at the last meeting? I can't
We did,
remember.
but we have an updated sheet, so I didn't know if anything changed.
Oh, that was, I found a typo on this where, on the original, it was saying that it was adding the grand total on the bottom.
Mhm.
It said it was like 3 million
3
something.
million, yeah, I see it.
And so that was just a
Gotcha,
typo
It-
where it was
yeah.
transposing it twice. It was adding them together rather than,
gotcha.
so it's really only the 1.5 million,
Okay.
1.563. So I just wanted to give you a clean page on
Thank
that.
you. Then that.
And then last page is going to be special warrant articles. And I think we have some discussion as to how we should move forward as far as special warrant articles and how we want to fund some of these things, if it's going to be all taxation, if we're going to put the full amounts in, if we're going to I guess phase things
Well,
in.
Water system improvements and lead and copper compliance, 800,000 is other, and I know you don't want to hear it, but are there
Mhm.
any grants for that?
So there is a grant. So it's not a grant. It's
It's a-
a 71% forgiveness loan through
Right.
DES.
So the net payout on this would be, and I'll let you do the math.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have that at the top of my head. So
240.
800,000. 871.
Because the 800 is a scary number, but 240
800.
even scary, but it's not as scary.
Times 871.
Did that.
568.
Yeah.
So 800. $232. Yep.
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah, so that would be essentially, and that's if we spent all $800,000.
And after we pay for what needs to be paid for next year out for the water tank, is there anything left in tap fees that could be used? Or can tap fees could be used on this?
I would say water tap fees could be used on this. I don't know if we'll
But-
have
But I don't think we'll have that.
that remaining.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Mhm.
Um,
But only time will tell.
and is the 600 for the Kank rec, is that a concrete number?
So the 600, for the Kank Rec, we met, I forwarded you all the renderings, right? So
Mhm.
we met with Stuart Anderson the other day. It was me, Tara, Bree, Nate, and Ryan Smith. We all sat down with Stuart and kind of went over his renderings and his plans and his proposal. And he was still firm on that $800,000 number being sufficient for the additional, the addition being put on, the pavilion, the moving of the kitchen
How much did
and
we give
whatnot.
what was the petition warrant article for the pavilion?
150.
150. So we could take 150 off of that 600.
Well, no. So
So it's 750,000?
it was $800,000. It was $800,000 originally.
Okay,
We would take the 150 from the pavilion.
Okay.
We'd take our capital reserves. That was going to net us around 450, which we would have to raise and appropriate.
okay.
Unfortunately, when we sat down with Nate and Ryan and kind of went over the logistics, there were some major concerns because that building was built with volunteer blood, sweat, and tears.
Mhm.
there are some concerns that once we start ripping back the walls, that none of the electricity is going to be code compliance
Of
anymore.
course it's not.
That and we
If you
can't.
want to rip that off the walls, you
I
can
know.
see it's not.
So
Right.
we have concerns that we're going to have to do some major electrical improvements and upgrades because we can't connect new construction to, to old stuff.
Agreed.
We also were talking about if we are building an addition and how are we going to finish the inside? Are they going to be rough walls again? Are we going to do sheetrock? Are we going to try to blend the two sides together?
Definitely T111. You hit the drywall with a ski or a snowboard and forget it. It's
Right.
gotta be
Well, yeah,
T111.
but more so is we want it to be uniform kind of across the board. So it doesn't look like it's mismatched,
Oh, I
you know?
know, it's the kank. We don't
It's the
care
kank.
about mismatch. We
But-
just want it to be durable and last forever.
Okay. There's also concerns that all the doors and the windows, if we're moving walls and moving things around, we don't know if those will be able to be repurposed.
Oh, no, there's plenty of windows that need to be replaced
Right.
already, regardless of whether we do anything, they need to be.
We need
We've been putting
replaced.
it off because of this. yeah.
Right. So with those kind of additional
Wait, we have
unknowns,
one good window.
we have one good window. It's a
Yeah,
brand,
we do.
Yeah, we have one good
Yep,
candy window.
It was donated.
With those unknowns, we just want to make sure that we have enough funds to actually do the project and
Yep.
do it right.
Yep, I
So
agree.
they had suggested adding some additional funds to the project total to
Yeah.
ensure that it's done correctly and
So
it's
they
done right.
Entire 600 in addition to the 150.
Yes, it's
And
the
the
600
CRFs.
and the CRFs, correct.
Okay.
What's being estimated as a total cost right now to do everything,
Mhm.
right, would be right around that $1 million mark, the
Yep.
9999.
And I'm not surprised because it has to become ADA compliant. We
Mhm.
got to bring everything up to code. And that doesn't surprise me.
Well, no, and Nate said that he thinks that's probably just 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old fiberglass behind those walls. There's not going to be insulation, my concern is that we get into this project and we think it's going to be $800,000 and it's not going to, the additional loan is going to cost $800,000 and then
Mhm.
there's no room for improvement after the fact.
Right, right.
So what do we want to do about that? Do we want to phase it? Do we want to budget for the whole thing and get it done right? These are, I guess, our discussions for the board. And then how do we fund that? Do we fund it with
Do we have a-
taxation? Do we fund it with undesignated fund
Well, that's what I was
balance
wondering.
or?
Do we have an
pieces and
idea of what
portions
we're
of it?
gonna have for unexpended funds?
Yes, so as of right now, as of today, our undesignated fund balance is 2.5 million for easy math. 2,508,932, which is just under 14%. It's 13.9% of what DRA recommends. That's also assuming that $0 will roll over from
The
24.
2.5 is 13.9%.
Correct. And that also doesn't account for any rollover that would happen from the 24 to 25 year.
Do we have
Which
an estimate on what that's gonna be?
I don't right now. I imagine it's within the $100,000 to $200,000 range is my guess. I think that's always a safe bet. But that's where I would shoot for right now.
Supposed to take out of that tax rate this year.
So that number includes what we've
Includes
already
that.
taken out. Yep, we took out 320,000, I believe, to make the tax rate flat. And so that 2.5 is after that money's already been taken out.
Yeah.
That's as of today. So if, I did do a little math, if 10% retained is 1.8 million, 8% retained is 1.4 million. I do think we could take a significant chunk out of
10% is
fund.
what?
10% retained is 1.8 million, 12% retained is 2.15. Oh yeah, you have it on your little cheat sheet
It's my cheat sheet.
behind that. Yeah, right there.
Ha,
Yeah.
I have a cheat.
I made you a
sheet.
cheat sheet.
Okay, thank you, Jack.
So those are where if we were going to move any money around or spend any money, this is kind of where it would fall. I just wanted to give you some options.
Hmm. Well, I
So
wouldn't
Karina,
wanna,
just to review, the Stewart's estimate related to the new construction is 800.
Correct.
what is the amount you're putting in for the unknown upgrades to the old section of the building, windows, wiring, et cetera? Is that 200?
Yes,
Okay, and then we have 150 set aside from last year's town meeting for the pavilion
correct.
that will go to this. All right, so that net that we have to raise, or that, well, I shouldn't say have to, that we're looking to raise this year is 850, is that correct?
No, because we also have capital reserve funds that were put in capital reserves for the improvements to the rec that were done in years past and some this year. So in total, the Kank rec has, what's so right now the Kank Rec building, not including the pavilion that we have 150 for, just for the Kank Rec building.
Yeah,
We have a $100,000 in that capital reserve line. The capital
Okay.
reserve, the CIP committee is proposing to put 142,424 in 25. So that would bring the total for this project to 242,424.
200,
50.
so 242. So we'd have almost 400,000, so we'd need to come up with another 200,000.
No, 600, because it's $1 million project if we were doing everything at once.
Oh, okay, off of the million.
The
not
million,
6,
yes.
Okay,
Yes, we
Mm.
have the 242,424 plus 150 equals, 392. Just four, let's call it 4 for easy math.
Mhm.
And then we would need to raise 6, correct?
okay.
Well, if we bring the fund balance to 12% retained, which is still a good amount, in my opinion, it gives us 350,000. Do we need that for anything else?
Well,
We should think about the water tank, I think, Tammy, too, you know, where that's going.
And we have funding for
There
that.
might be more discussion on that tonight, is it?
no,
Oh,
I have no
Yeah,
update.
but
I don't have an update,
you
no.
don't have.
But we know that that price is going to be higher. We know that there's potential for some other funding for that, but probably not for the whole amount of the increase. So that
Oh, we
could be something we want to have some fund balance money available for.
I thought we got the increase from the developer.
Well, first of all, nothing's been signed yet, and
Right.
second of all, I don't think that made up the 100% of the balance. We'd have to relook at that math, but
And I thought it did. I thought from the estimate we got with what,
No, we had 150, I mean, 1.5 million from the town. That's 3, there's 4. We're talking 5.9 anyways.
No, so it was,
And
it
what
it
is-
was 4 from the developer.
yep.
It
Thank
was
you.
the 1.5 letter of credit, the original letter of credit, the 2.5 that is potentially coming
Right.
with the
Yeah, exactly.
supplement. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that brings that to 4. And then we have the
Grant
grant, which is 500,000, which will bring us to 4.5.
plus our match,
Plus our match, which is
5.5, another 500,000.
another 500,000.
5.5.
Right, well,
so
that will
that's
come with water.
5.
That's 5, but then we have water and sewer,
Fees,
water and sewer
of
tap
which
fees.
we have a little over $1 million.
I think we have like 1.4,
So
right?
there's
One-
the other
Wait,
500,000.
Wait. There's no sewer tap fees available for the
water tap fees.
Okay. And what is the balance of the water tap fee account?
I don't have it right in front of me, but I think it's right around the 1.3.
I mean, we do have to remember that water tap fee fund is for the expansion of the water system. Certainly I guess in my opinion, the new water tank is certainly part of expanding the water system, but I also know that that money has been set aside to fund the fourth cell of the water treatment plant.
That
Oh.
is, that's actually coming out of the bedroom impact fee. So that is actually its own separate account.
Okay.
And that, I think that has about a $500,000 in it. Between
Okay.
between 4 and 5.
All right. So we were at a $5 million before we touched the water tap fee account.
Yeah.
So if it's
5.5.
5.9, the water tap fee account
Covers it.
would cover that, but be pretty much wiped out.
Correct.
We knew that when we discussed it from the first day, that this water tank was probably going to wipe out that, or come close to wiping out that water tap account.
Can any of that money be used in that, that's with a 71% reimbursement for the copper in the lines? and
No, that's its
Different
own
program.
grant program.
No, but I mean, can we offset our cost? The 29%. Can we offset that 29% using those water tap fees?
I would say not, because that's not expansion of the water.
It's not expanding. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, good question though.
Well, going back to that, I would be in favor of, again, proposing, it's up to the taxpayers, I mean, the voters to approve this, but recommending that we take $350,000 out of fund balance for the recreation building.
Me too.
That would bring our reserve to 12%.
And then we would need 250,000 on a warrant article.
Or is there a strict standard on the fund balance requirement?
Yes, between 5 and 17.
I think it's 5 and
Yeah.
17, yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't call that strict.
No, I wouldn't call it straight. It's
it's
kind of a
like a
broad, it's a good
range.
range,
It's a
but
huge range. I would
Yeah.
not be comfortable down in that 5% range.
No,
no,
I
We've never
agree.
done that. That'd be,
No, I don't even want to go to the 10%. I mean, I'm comfortable with the 12. But below that, you start getting a little nervous.
yeah, I will say that, yeah. Yeah, I like being in that 10 plus, the 10 plus range.
So, and then bond to the 250.
That would be up to you all, whether you wanted to bond it or you just want to raise it in taxation.
What do we have that we're getting rid of this year? With just one
Nothing.
bond?
We have huge increases in our long-term debt
No, we have
because,
bond that terminates next year, this Pollard Road sidewalk.
yeah, but that's a little baby one, isn't
And
it?
it was more than 250. It was 400 and,
Yeah, but what is our principal and interest on it?
oh, this year, it's
Yeah.
the last year.
Yeah,
It's
I was gonna say
nothing.
it's
But
nothing.
the
Yeah.
original note was 423,000. So this would be less than, obviously, less than that. But then we've got the two big ones coming on
Yeah, we got the two big ones coming on and we
Mhm.
also,
and the water system.
and
So
the water, yeah, we have
coming
three.
on.
We have three
Yeah.
because of the construction loan.
Yeah,
Yeah, because just the campus world alone, I think is 469,000 this year.
Yeah, it's significant.
what if we sent this to the budget committee with a warrant article for $250,000 and a bond article for $250,000?
and get their
Get their
opinion.
opinion.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's their budget that's going to go to the town anyway. Let's put them both on there and have a discussion with them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great idea.
yeah, I like that idea too. Makes it, yeah. We all want to be on the same
Get
page and
more
how we move
ideas,
this
yeah.
forward, right? So,
And take 350 out of fund balance. No, that's a, Good idea, OJ. All right, was that the only questions you had?
Yeah, that was just the big one, you know, like I said, I didn't know if we were gonna,
Now, the
Try
water
to phase
system
it.
improvements, lead copper compliance, the 800,000, we have to bond that.
correct.
But only have to pay the 232 theoretically. So that would be not a bond, it would be a bank note so that we could pay it off early, correct?
I would, yeah, we would have to, I'd have to talk to the
How
bank.
they-
Yeah,
right,
how,
right.
yeah, I would have to talk to the bank on how we would
But
structure
either
that,
way,
but
that's gonna have to be a bond article
yes.
for the
it-
whole amount, even though we're not gonna end up paying off
Right.
the whole amount.
It could potentially be something like we did with the PD where we got
Construction type
a
loan.
construction type
Yeah.
loan for the first year and we drew and we paid on what we drew. And then once we got the, you know, the funds to
Yeah.
reimburse.
How long is that project gonna take?
We have to be in compliance by 26,
Oh,
by the
okay.
end of 26.
Okay.
So 2
So it's-
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be okay.
No, it's not going to be long and drawn out. We have to
Okay.
be in compliance by 26, at the end of
Fantastic.
26.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And unfortunately, that's something that we don't have a choice. That's an EPA regulation, you know.
Yeah, so if they vote it down, we take it out of the budget.
Yeah, or we try again next year and who knows if that 71% forgiveness turns
But-
into 50% forgiveness. So,
Exactly.
right.
And what if it's like the levy where it got voted down and voted down and voted down and then tripled in price by the time we got it approved?
Yeah.
It wouldn't want to do that either.
No, and like I said, this $800,000, we factored in kind of a worst case scenario. You know,
Sure.
Nate has some creative ways of trying to get some of the local contractors to help us do some of this test
Sure.
fitting and stuff like that. So, you know, we'll try to be resourceful as much as we can to
Sure.
make that 800,000 not as high as 800,000, but we also need to budget for if we can't get local help or local contractors to do the
Exactly,
work. You know,
exactly.
they gave us, Weston Sampson has an estimate on what they think each test pit will be and, you know, how many we'll need and
And
you
I know by town meeting, we'll have to know if it's that reimbursement is a guarantee. We
yes.
can't stand there and tell, oh, we're gonna get 71% back and then have it not happen.
Well, I mean, it won't be a guarantee until we apply for the loan.
Right,
So we can only have, you know,
gotcha.
we won't have the guarantee until we apply for that loan and we can't apply for that loan until we have
Until we get
funding.
the
Correct.
approval from
It's
town
the chicken and the
meeting
egg
and
type
yeah,
scenario.
yeah.
But just because we get approved to do it doesn't necessarily mean we have to take out the bond to do so. We could say if it got approved
Right.
and we applied for the grant and the grant was denied,
Denied.
we
don't
could then take a step back and say, okay, do we want to go take out a
Come
bond
back to-
ourselves
yeah.
and go do it? Or are we gonna pivot and maybe rethink this next year or
Sure.
whatever it may be?
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Is that it for the budget?
That is the
That
major,
answers all your questions?
that answers all my questions for
So do
now.
we need to vote to send this to the budget committee or we just send it?
We should
I think,
vote.
yeah, I was gonna say, traditionally you vote.
Do you need them individually? We just need it as a whole, correct?
No, I think you just need it as a bottom line, yes.
So I'll make a motion to send to the budget committee the budget that you have presented. Do you want the totals, the grand total, the 14?
No, because we're gonna change, I guess we're not gonna change that, well, yeah, we're gonna change that 600 with
We are.
With
350
yeah.
coming out of fund balance.
I will update the numbers and send it off to all of you all. And then on the 30th, you could vote to,
I'd like to give it to him now if we could.
oh, okay.
I mean, I don't wanna make you do, I'll make a motion, we send this budget to the budget committee after you've made the changes with taking the fund balance out to offset the Kank Rec building bond.
Okay.
I'll second it.
You okay with that, OJ?
Yes, just a question,
Mm-hmm.
does the revenue need to be part of this as the budget, or is that just advisory and we can do that later?
I don't think you did the revenue at the same time you did the
we
expenditures
definitely
last year.
didn't.
I think you did that after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
'cause-
have started working on them though, too, so you'll have them for the 30th.
Okay,
So
then
we
let's
could do
do
the-
that on the 30th and,
Okay.
and we'll have to, because I'm concerned about that, what is it, the water system improvements for $800,000.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's gonna be, 500 and whatever, $70,000 of
Estimated revenue. Yeah.
estimated
Yeah.
revenue associated with that.
Yeah.
But when you send it to them, just let them know that we'll do the revenues for the 30th and get them that. So
Yes.
they'll have it before the first of the
Yeah, like I
year.
said, I've already started working on them. I could probably even have them to you guys by the end of the week. So
Okay, all right,
Yep.
then if that's the case, I'm good with the motion. Did someone second that?
Yeah, Jack seconded it. So, all right,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. That way they can have it over the holidays. Here you go. Here's a budget.
I also
Merry
think,
Christmas.
at a later date, you also like voted to recommend the warrant articles or not as well. Don't we formally do that as well? The special warrant articles?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do to send it. I want to, right, but I want to send it to the budget committee and get their thoughts on that other one
Before we
first.
formalize.
Yeah,
Okay, makes sense.
because it is the budget committee's budget, but the selectmen's warrant.
Correct.
So,
All right,
yeah,
I'll
we do
draft
the
up
warrant separately.
either way, one with the bond and one without the bond. So
Well, all right, that's the budget. And then I see you have a calendar here.
I do. Yep. So you'll have the 2025 calendar in front of you. It's pretty standard. Actually, with all the holidays, it works out great. There's no rearranging this year.
Well, the other
So
thing I looked at is February vacation week.
Okay.
Is the week of the 24th. And I probably won't be here. Grandkids are trying to talk me into Great Wolf Lodge, so we'll see.
Okay. All right.
However, I don't think there's anything major at that point as far as budget and whatnot goes. It's
We'll
Yeah.
kind of be just coast until town meeting at that
right,
point.
right. So I'm pretty sure these boys can handle it without me.
Oh, yeah.
I know they'll miss me and there'll be tears.
Uh,
But that was the only thing I saw that was a conflict for me.
Oh, before we go too far away from the budget, though, I do want to say this. It is on my TM report, but I think we should talk about it now, before we stray too far from the budget. So, we at the last meeting had discussed that we had received our EPA, our draft EPA sewer discharge permit,
Yes.
and what the additional requirements were going to be for us as far as testing goes. So we sent that off to H2O Innovations.
Mhm.
They are the contractor that they are the vendor that we contract with as far as testing and the operation of the wastewater treatment plant. And we received a quote for the additional testing requirements. And these new requirements will be approximately $45,000 per year. Do we want to budget forever?
Forever.
Mhm. So I guess my question is, do we want to budget for these in the operating budget for
what do we have for
2025?
soup System.
Or do we want to use,
CRF.
we have a lot in the sewer system CRF at the moment, but we have, hold on. Sewer system CRF. The CRF balance, the estimated balance at the end of this year for the sewer rehab is just over 2 million.
I would actually think we should put them in the budget under contracted services.
My only concern with putting them in the budget for 25 is we don't know what's going to happen when the EPAs, because we're still in the draft and the public comment period.
So
The
I'd say
comment
this
period
year, they're
ends.
not gonna, by the time the government gets around to it, it'll be next year before we can do it.
That is exactly what my thought process is
Okay.
that we might not
Good
need
call.
to do it until
Okay.
2026, have it be part of the annual testing
Put it in
requirements.
26's
And
budget, not
in the event
25's.
that we have to do it in the fall of 25, we could take it out of sewer rehab just
If
for
we
this,
had to.
if we had
Okay.
to. I don't want to put $50,000 in the operating budget and have it sit there and then we don't use it and then it just gets rolled back into the fund.
agree.
You know, I
Okay.
think if we have to do it this year, we take it out of capital reserves. If not, we plan for it for 26.
Perfect.
Have
I'm
you
good with
seen
that.
the
OJ?
documents?
Does testing meet the requirement of the capital reserve? It's not,
Uh,
it's not a capital expense.
Well,
EPA required, I would assume it would be.
yeah, I mean, what I guess, why are you saying, is it not a capital expense?
Well, a capital expense is typically a
Physical.
physical thing that you depreciate. And again, I know the town doesn't appreciate it, but
That's true. Yeah.
from my business world applications, it's a depreciable expense is a capital
Right.
expense. If it's not
could
depreciable,
it-
it's not a capital.
Could it be part of the design and construction of the upgraded sewer treatment plant? Because it is updated requirements for the sewer treatment plant?
I think if we're pretty sure that it's not going to take effect until late in the year, I think we either budget, if it's, what is it, $45,000 for 12 months? Call it $4,000 a month. Let's say we only have to do it 3, let's budget 12 grand and increase the sewer budget by 12 grand.
Well, I don't, I kind of agree, but I don't agree. Because of the fact that, if they do the testing, it's not gonna be a month. It's gonna be, okay, we're doing the testing here, you owe us 45 grand. But-
No,
But
so
I'd like to see, Karina look into what exactly this means. As far as additional requirements and what, the comment, when the comment period closes, what some of the other, different type cities, towns or villages are saying about this, what their opinions are. And what is the time frame that EPA has to get back to us? If they're gonna do a test this year and they don't get back to us next year, it only complicates the problems if any are discovered this year. So it's circular deal where somebody's getting paid.
well, and I'll just say this too. It's not just like a one and done. There
No.
are, I would say, 50 different tests that need to be done. Some need to be done weekly, some need to be done every day, some need to be done semi-annually, some need to be done quarterly, some. Eurofins, it's a environmental testing company. They essentially have a monopoly in this area. They're the only company in the area that does it. But I do understand your concern, OJ, of it maybe not falling truly under a capital expense. I just kind of thought of it as part of the sewer treatment plant upgrade, but I guess kind of looking at it from your perspective,
Mhm.
you're right. It's not like something that can be depreciated essentially
It is
over
a
time.
monthly Cost. It's not we're gonna do it for 2 months and charge you the 45,000.
I think we will be charged based on the testing that needs to be done at the time the testing needs to be done.
So it could be 45,000.
Well, like I said, some of them are done 52 times a year. Some of them are done 365 days a year. Some of them are done
Definitely
24
break
times a
out.
year. So I imagine we enter a contract with Eurofins to do the testing. And as the testing requirements come, we get billed for those individual tests.
My assumption would be, and maybe it's wrong, is that if a test is only required once a year, it won't be on the first day of the contract. That if we start doing the testing, let's say it's September, let's even say it's August. I mean, that obviously the daily test will start in August, the weekly test will start in August, but some of these, every 3 month, every 6 month, every 12 month, that doesn't have to happen. Again, my guess is it won't have to happen on the very first month of the contract. So is there an amount that we could safely raise to cover what portion of the 45 might occur in 2025 and then regroup and put the whole amount into 2026?
The problem is, OJ, I think even the one that has to test it has to be done once a year. They're gonna do it immediately to get a baseline. I mean, that gives them, information going forward on what they've seen, what they've discovered. I mean, I'd say let's hold off putting anything in there until next year.
Yeah, but my concern
If we
is,
can't take it out of the capital reserve.
if we
budget
can't
and
take- yeah,
they
if we
do come
can't
in
take
and
it out,
say it's
right.
45,000, we're screwed. We have to put it in the budget. We don't have a choice. We have to. I mean, because we can't expend it if it's not there anyway. So
I would think if we put that number at 15 grand, it would number one, identify it as a line item in the budget, and then we can spend money on it. We've budgeted up to 15 in hopes that that would cover whatever the requirements are in 2025. And if we miss, we know that over the past years, then there's been over expenditures and under expenditures in every budget. And if we
Mhm.
overspend the sewer budget, hopefully we can manage the other ones to offset any
Agreed.
surprise, tests that have to be done in 2025.
I agree.
Okay, so do we want to add $15,000 under contracted services in the sewer
Budget, yes.
budget to account for the EPA additional testing or whatnot? I'll
Yes.
craft something.
Yeah.
That would be my suggestion. And I would say we do it under
EPA required testing, because we don't have a choice whether we
Yeah,
want to.
or even title it new EPA required testing, 15 grand.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, that covers a third of it too. Okay.
Isn't that one of the agencies that's gonna get wiped out under the new regime?
Well, you never know what's going to change.
Right, right. So this is obviously included in the, to send this to the budget committee. You don't need me to redo that motion or anything.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as long as you all are in agreement
We are
that this
clear
needs
that
to be
this
added
goes,
to the,
yes.
yes,
Yeah.
then I think you're fine.
Okay.
All right, so plus 15K.
Yeah, that way, if we don't spend it, it's not 45. And if
Right.
we have to, even if we overexpend it, it's there. So it gives us permission to spend it out of there. So,
Okay.
fantastic. All right, you want to move on to your town manager?
Sure. Yep. So I've already added a couple of things. Okay. So South Peak Water Tank Supplemental Agreement. I don't have a revised agreement as of yet. After the last meeting and after talking with Mark, I think it's best if we added language to the agreement that outlines the payment process and the disbursement of those funds and the process and how to do so, what money gets spent first, what money gets spent last type scenario, and how we will receive reimbursement and how those payouts will be.
Who's drafting that?
Mark and his attorneys are.
Okay, good.
And then he was going to provide us a revised agreement. I have yet to see it.
Fantastic.
I did talk to Scott
I
on
mean-
Friday, and Scott was checking into where that agreement was and what the status of it was, but he hadn't seen it yet on his end either. So,
Okay.
I had mentioned to Tammy, I thought when they left this meeting here, closed meeting, that 2.5 was gonna be cash put in the bank account, basically, for the town to draw against. But now I'm told it was gonna be another letter of credit. Is that correct?
I believe that is what's being proposed. Yes.
Being proposed now Instead of cash.
That's what my assumption was, more like a bond.
Well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
I
the
thought it was
original.
gonna- Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I told him that we would need to have the fund secured some way, that we couldn't just go off of the supplemental agreement. We would need to have the fund secured somehow, whether it's
Correct.
either a bond or a letter of credit or something that
Right.
secures those funds as town funds, and that we wouldn't be crediting any of his water tap fees until there was an executed agreement. So,
Okay. So
but
he's working on it.
he's working on it.
Fantastic.
New PD, CDS funding, I already
We went
talked
over that.
about. Cable franchise agreement. I received notice from Charter Communications regarding the expiration of our cable franchise agreement. It expires in October of 2027. They are required to notify us 3 years in advance to begin formal proceedings. We have a 6-month window to discuss whether we will negotiate formally or not. I am not very familiar with this process, admittedly, and I'm going to do a little research and reach out to some other communities to best identify kind of where to go from here. Right.
Perfect. Fantastic.
EPA sewer discharge permit, we just discussed. Upcoming important dates: on 12/30, we have the Chenard Court hearing in Plymouth. On January 8th at 9 AM, we have the wood jury selection, and then from January 21st through the 28th would be the wood trial. So it's coming up
Making sure,
fast.
Yep, I have that on there. I have it through the 29th. To the 28th. That's even better.
Mhm.
And then jury, and then, yep, okay, I have them all on here. Perfect.
Okay, personnel updates, fire chief interviews are being conducted on January 3rd, and then advertising for the program coordinator position began last week. So
Do you want one of us in on those interviews or not?
I've asked OJ if he'd sit down,
Fantastic,
and he agreed to sit down. So it's going to
I was
be
gonna volunteer him anyways.
okay. It will be a panel of interviewers.
Perfect.
And we have 5 strong.
When you do the program
Applicants.
coordinator, though, I'd like to volunteer for that.
Sure.
Perfect. And then are you actually gonna take some days off?
I am going to be out of the
Yay, good
office.
for you.
I am obviously I am available by phone or email. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to be at
Sure.
home, but I will be out of the office starting Friday, and then I will return after the new year.
Good
So
for you.
thank you.
Enjoy your holiday.
I will try.
Fantastic.
And that is all I have for this evening.
Okay, we've got some stuff here. This is the intermunicipal agreement for the regional municipal prosecutor. And I understand the only difference to this is they've added Waterville Valley
That is correct.
to the agreement. This is nothing we need to vote on because it's already in existence, correct?
Well, you do that on an annual basis, so I believe this will be for 2025. But
okay.
the only changes, there was no changes in the cost structuring because of the addition of Waterville.
Right.
So,
Okay.
so I do think you should motion to accept it for 2025.
So let me just. Nothing has changed and our cost for this is. Is the total? No, it's 10,000, it says 40,000 for the year,
Correct.
the town of
And
Lincoln,
change, 40 and change. Yeah.
for the
Just
town
for
of
the town
Lincoln.
of Lincoln.
Just for the town of Lincoln.
I will make a motion to accept the intermunicipal agreement for regional municipal prosecutor as presented.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then. Today is the 16th. Let me put this paperclip back on there for you, Jack. There you go. And then personnel policy stuff. This was already voted on. This just needs signatures.
Correct. That is just, I gave you a hard copy of the changes outlined and just signatures for the signature page.
Perfect. OJ already signed it. And then that's
Did you sign the purchase and sale? That needs to be signed too. And there's,
not till after the second. It has to be signed.
it has
now?
to be signed now so we can start
Okay.
there's 100 different spots.
Yeah,
So
there is.
I'm
and we
sorry, I
did
should have.
one last time. So I'm gonna do it, hand it to Jack, and then you're
Okay.
gonna go over it before we
Sure.
leave. This is initial. Do you want me to sign? I'm gonna sign it here, though. Um. You're welcome. We don't have another folder, so I think we're good there. Did you have anything you wanted to? Did you have anything, OJ, before we move on?
Yeah, Karina, what's the status with the construction at the community building? Are they, I know they're not done. Are they still working on it, or do we have a schedule, or what? You know,
I keep being told end of the month, end of
which
the month.
month?
Exactly.
Say what year?
I believe most of it is cosmetic at this point. Tara has promised me that it will be operational before she leaves.
Yes. I think there was some
Okay.
lock set thing or something.
Yeah, they had to change, the glass door, like the push handlebar, the
yeah,
push bar thing. But yes, I do believe that it is, we are very close to the end on that project.
It's really looking good too. Yeah.
Looked very good. They did a great job.
Yeah, make sure we got everywhere that needs to be gotten. Anything else, OJ?
No, I had a couple of other questions, but they've been answered through all previous discussions, so that's all I had.
Jack?
Nope.
The only question I had was our Boston Post cane recipient. Do we have any plans on when to do that? That's Kayla Breck, who's Lincoln's oldest citizen. Any idea? I mean, you've been in contact of Jane with the family or? Well, it'd have to be this Wednesday or Thursday, and Wednesday is just for kids shopping. It's something I could do on Thursday. I don't know when OJ's coming. When are you coming back, OJ?
I'll be here Thursday.
You'll be here Thursday?
I'll be there Thursday.
Jack, what does your Thursday look like?
Teaching in the morning, I know that, in the adaptive. I'll be available late afternoon.
I'm not available after 2:30. I have kids.
Could you do something?
Yeah.
Jack, did you say you were available in the late afternoon or not available?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm teaching
Yeah.
in the adaptive program in the morning.
Yeah, but I'm not available in the afternoon.
What time, Jack, would you be available to do it earliest? Like, could you do 1 o'clock?
I can try, if not.
We have
do
to
it
go up to Franconia, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Above it. Okay. What's the earliest you could do on Thursday, Jack? What's the earliest you can be available?
Probably 1 o'clock. Maybe, I'm not
So-
sure. I have a 2 week.
Out at 1 o'clock, or you could be in Franconia at 1 o'clock?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my lesson from the end of 12:30.
I could be in Franconia at 1 o'clock on Thursday. Can you double check with the family and see if it's possible to meet in Franconia at 1 o'clock? Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm sure they're gonna want somebody at family with her, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
I can't make it. No, that's okay.
Okay,
Just go ahead and do it.
okay.
She's more important.
Jack was just saying that if he can't make it, that we should do it without him on Thursday at 1 o'clock. So you'll get back to us and let us know. Thank you, Jane. And I think that was all I had, because again, I had other questions, but they were answered as well. So I'll open it up to public comment. Anything, Wayne? Paul?
Yeah, do you happen to have a proposed new tax impact on the Board of Selectmen's proposed budget?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, we just finalized the budget tonight, but once we have that, I can, Karina, would you?
Yeah.
Pass that along to Paul?
We have to wait till we do the revenue side of that.
Oh, that's correct. Well,
We
so
don't
on
have
the
the revenue,
30th,
so. Yeah.
so on the 30th, we would have that at our next meeting, Paul.
So you'll have it before it gets handed out to the budget committee, or are you gonna?
No, we're gonna forward what we have for the budget to the budget committee. On the 30th, we'll do the revenue and
Okay.
get to them as well. And at that point, we'll have the proposed tax impact done.
All right,
on
all
30th.
right. Yep. The is there anything going on with the update for Campus World? I came on late. I'm sorry if you discussed it. I didn't.
We didn't discuss Campus World tonight at all, no.
Have you received any proposals at all?
We
Karina?
have not, but there is a fairly substantial company who has done large scale projects in New Hampshire They're a New Hampshire-based company who has had some initial discussions, and I would say they seem excited, but they've asked a lot of questions. They're they told us about themselves, but nothing has come forward yet.
All right. And the last thing I have is, so in your additional sewer testing requirement, can you would the DuBois money be able to be used for some of that?
There isn't any more Dubois money.
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is?
Oh, yeah. I actually think that,
There better be some.
There's none coming in.
No.
Okay,
but-
okay, okay, thank you.
That's what you're thinking, Tammy. There's no
Yeah,
more
it's
coming
not-
in.
yeah, there's
You're
no more coming in.
exactly
You're right. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay.
But we do have, if I remember correctly, a significant balance in that account. Let me look in to see exactly what that was approved
good idea.
for. Because yes, that may be able to come into play.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Paul.
Sometimes being old helps.
Well, that's a good idea. That's one of those things that, just isn't at the top of my mind, but it has to do with environmental. I'm not sure if it has to be improvements or if testing could be included, but that's definitely worth looking into.
And if I remember correctly, it's a couple $100,000. If I remember correctly, I'll look into that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it's been put away for a while. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Is there
Kristen,
anything
Mike?
we need to talk about in non-public?
I can give you a brief personnel update if you'd like.
Fantastic. All right, I'll make a motion to go into non-public for personnel.
I'll second that motion. Wish all that are watching and here happy and healthy
Yes.
year and a happy
Merry
holiday season.
Christmas.
Merry
Happy New
Christmas.
Year. Yes, we'll see you after Christmas. So
Thank you.
non-public, I am a yes. Jack?
Second.
Yes.
Yeah.
OJ's a yes, thank you. Yeah, it's very icy out there. Karina, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break. I'll be right back.
Thank you, Jane. First thing that was on it, do we know? Oh.
Jerry, do you think, I'm just going, is Jerry Stringham, you think? I think the only Jerry